What's up, members of the Peter Griffin household? It's your host of the most, Troublesome Junction, back at it again with another video. Now, this review video is probably going to come as a shock to some people because I'm very notorious for being open about the fact that I don't really care too much for Tomy or Trackmaster that much. Oh boy, that has gotten me into a lot of heat and controversy, but hey, I'm the king of controversy around these parts. That statement that I'm really not a big fan of Trackmaster or Tomy still does stand true. I grew up with those ranges, don't get me wrong, and I love the memories I have with them, but it's just not something as current day I really care too much for collecting. But today, I would like to talk about one of my favorite items that has come out of the Trackmaster range, hands down. So yeah, that's right. I really do love the road system that Tomy introduced and Trackmaster carried along. Initially, then they just said, hey, yo, fuck this shit. Let's just make more Thomases and sets, damn it. That's a very unfortunate case. I would have loved to have seen this expand. You know, maybe we've gotten Trevor or George. I still really need to get Terrence. He's actually one of the ones I really want, him and Horrid Lori. But right here, we have Ned. I know I've brought up my Instagram a lot in previous videos, and I don't want it to come off as like a shoehorn or like promotion stuff like that. But there is a lot of stuff I talk about on Instagram that you might not get in videos, but one of the things I do bring up all the time is the fact that I love the pack episode. I have numerous On-Site with Thomas DVDs. I think I have maybe like 3 of them. I don't know where they keep coming from. They just kind of show up on my doorstep, but I'm not complaining. My favorite characters from the pack being Nelson, which crazy enough, one of my Warped Archives characters is named after Nelson. Oliver, Monty, and Max. And last but not least, the tiny guy in this box, Ned. Ned is a character that I really do relate to a lot, you know, for the fact that I am very fucking clumsy. As someone who's in the mechanical engineering field, you know, it's kind of funny because I'm always walking around the workspaces like, don't bump into anyone, don't bump into anything, don't get a fucking lawsuit. So that's why I really wanted to get him, and I really want to get Jack as well. You know, there was Ned, then there's Jack, who I think is really cool. And then there's Alfie. Yeah, y'all niggas can keep that shit. But here we have Ned out of box. We're going to look at some of the detail and stuff like that. There have been reviews on this guy, but as I said, when it comes to much more harder to obtain and rarer items, people just don't like talking about them properly. The items that I just listed are insanely rare, desired, and hard to find. And when it comes to those items, and not even just from the Thomas and Friends lines, it's always the hard items that no one wants to properly review and give deep discussions on. You know, I'm talking, I want to see Thomas Wooden Railway discussions on these things. I think the rare items, like there needs to be good documentation on these guys rather than just a 4-second video of a guy without a tripod bumbling around saying,
hey, what's up, guys? It's ThomasFan69 here. Today we have Ned. Drop the camera. He's a toy, and subscribe to my videos for awesome banger content.
I'm not trying to say my videos are perfect, but at least I can give a much more deeper, in-depth discussion on this, coming from someone who is an avid Thomas collector. So, looking at the side of this guy, it has a matte finish to it. I think the side detailings are just stickers, which I have kind of mixed feelings on, because on one hand, it looks very top-notch. Like, you know, it's not overly shiny, it's not super cheap plasticky looking, but simultaneously, a drop of water gets on this guy, and oh my god, he's fucked. As you can see on the side, this right here is clearly molded into it, but this right here, I just don't know what material that is. I think it is sticker, though, because there is a seam mark there. Don't want to test my luck, though, because knowing me, I'll find some way to fuck it up. So on the side there, it simply says Soder Construction Company, number 19 there. And then other side, same thing here, but it doesn't have this little black square on the side of it. The roof is a very nice, like, it's not like overly metallic, but you can see here, it is like that matte metallic color, which I really think, this is like honestly one of my favorite colors of all time. You put this on merchandise and it just looks so good. You know, typically metallic merchandise is either overly shiny or overly cheap feeling. No, this hits like a really good blend of like, yeah, it's solid, but it's not like, hey, I'm in your face, Metal Mario style. It is kind of nice to see Ned with the metallic color because his actual prop doesn't have that. It's more of like a matte finish type of thing, but I think it is a very nice contrast. Just gives them that extra edge of showing that, yeah, this guy's a machine. One thing about the bucket though that I have noticed is that there are some listings on eBay where the bucket is like completely tuned out. So, you know, if you're looking to buy this guy, I would say definitely look out, because I'd say one of the most important things about Ned is, of course, his bumble bucket. You know, I don't think a steam shovel would be a steam shovel without it, wouldn't he? The articulation on it is very simplistic. It's basically the exact same as the take-along. Rivet up here has it move up and down, but also moves forward like this, and you can hear it ratcheting back and forth like that, so it can hold its shape. The face on it, honestly, I think it's such a really good face. If you look side by side with this Ned versus the TV series, you know, it is such a really nice looking Ned face. For some reason, when I look at Ned's face, it reminds me of like a Dr. Seuss Who character. It gives me major like Grinch or Horton Hears a Who vibes. I don't know why. Maybe it's like the lazy eyes and just the kind of dopey face, but I don't know. The front part and also the back part, the details on here is the exact same as the sides. It is that sticker kind of detail. Kind of unfortunate, but hey, I'll take what I can get. It's not like I'm going to be running this thing through the mud. At least not yet. Looks like the dome up here is like also a kind of a separately molded piece. It's like this really soft, rubbery kind of material. Little short chimney, you know, you gotta love the detail where it is. And I think one thing that people have noted about this Ned is, of course, the length on it. Ned looks insanely long. Now, if you compare him to the prototype, there is like a shorter cab section, but then it has this weird little boxy thing in the back, which that's not present on the TV series model. But I honestly really like the little design at the back. It kept the front part of it more condensed, but also was like, maybe it was a place that, you know, the workmen will put their tools at. You know, it might not have been accurate to the TV series because, in short, Ned is just a box. That is it. Hey, I guess I'm a sucker for detail for children's toys. The chassis here isn't 100% accurate. The wheels are supposed to be white, but I think that for what they do for the road vehicles is they just use the same chassis that they use on Birdie or Bulgy or the Horrid Lorry. Like, I think that they all use this kind of red wheel, little bit elongated chassis. You know, nothing too wrong with that, I guess, but would have been nice to have seen, you know, a little bit of alteration. I'll give it a pass though, because technically the center part of it is red. And at the bottom here we have, it says Hit Toy Company. This wasn't a part of Trackmaster, I guess you could say. It is Trackmaster, but it is that early range of Trackmaster where it was under Hit Toy Company. And then of course it has printed under it Ned. And also here's where the switch is, as well as the screwdriver slot to take it off and put your batteries in it. So that's that. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of a comparison with another piece of Ned merchandise that I have. It is the Take-Along Ned. This one is one from my childhood. I mean, you can see from the bucket how it's a little bit flimsy and loose. This thing right here has been through the fucking ringer. Let me tell you now, dude. Like, this thing has been left in the garage. It was sitting in a toolbox at one point, a fishing box. Like, this Ned has seen everything. And at one point, I think I tried to rip his bucket off for some reason. I don't know. I was a very destructive child. Luckily, he's still here to tell the tale, but most importantly here for the comparison shot. As I said earlier, this Ned is definitely much more accurate in sculpt, as you can see here. He has the much more shorter, compact kind of design here, and that matte finish roof that you don't have on this guy. The Chimney also has a little bit of flesh tone on it, like that peachy color. This one is just metallic. And as you can see here, the Take-Along one has a much more saturated color than the Trackmaster one, which I don't think that either really matters because Ned is typically covered in dust. He's all dirty and stuff. But I do think that this one might be a little bit more accurate than this one, like comparing to the TV series prop. Still very nice none the same though. I do think that the face sculpts though, I think this one is slightly different and definitely more accurate, but this one still does get the point across. You know, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely Ned. I think both of these models are great in their own respects. This one's definitely, as I said before, more accurate, but also this one's trying to accommodate for, you know, a whole fucking motor. Also, the bucket at the front of it, you know, to fit the Take-Along range, it is magnetized and, you know, for interacting with metal. This is just a hollow bucket meant for mainly show, and maybe you could do some play, maybe have them, you know, drive in the sand or something like that. As a kid, I really did wish that this bucket was like this because I was always playing with this Ned and putting him in all kind of crazy situations. You know, I really do wish that it kind of followed the path of this one. So this one definitely does have those more beneficial points, I'd say. Now for some other Trackmaster comparisons to other pack characters. Here I have Oliver, and then I have, of course, Patrick. So here he is compared to Oliver. You know, Oliver is like spot on in every way. If you can find this guy, do yourself a favor and buy him. He looks great. You can use him to go with the CGI characters, but also for, of course, the classic series. I mean, I think his face sculpt is pretty much the fucking same. So as you can see here, Ned being elongated definitely doesn't look right when you put him up next to the other Trackmaster characters. These guys are all plastic though. They're not, you know, motorized. They're just push-alongs. I remember going into the store and buying these guys. I bought Byron and Nelson when I was a kid. And I was always so confused because I thought that they would go with take-along stuff. But no, they were Trackmaster. So when you compare them to this guy, yeah, they're definitely not in scale with each other. But hey, like, if you just line them up sitting next to each other and everything, like, hey, I don't really think too many people would notice as much. It is a bit weird that they chose Ned of all characters. You'd think that they would go for, of course, Jack and Alfie because they're the most recognizable. But maybe Monty and Max, or, you know, Isabella, or Nelson. Characters who are, you know, more road vehicles than just flat-out construction equipment. Like, you'd think that they'd go for that kind of option, but hey, I'm not the one who calls the shots over at Hit Toy Company. So we're going to get some batteries in this guy, you know, see if he works and everything. So, be back in a flash. I couldn't find my road track, so I said, fuck it, Ertl track to the rescue. I mean, this shit is pretty much road anyways. Hell, I think for the fact that I'm even remotely talking about Trackmaster is going to make Aiden proud.
What the fuck is that?
Alright, fart knockers, let's see what kind of magic this thing has in store. There we go. Yup, exactly as anticipated. I mean, it's still really fucking cool, man. Like, look at this guy go. I don't know. There's just something novel about seeing, you know, a toy car or a toy train just go in circles and just do its thing, man. Like, it's so fucking cool. Look at the fucking Tims in the background. You know, something really cool to note, though, when you do turn it on, like, you know how you see this is like a freewheeling thing, right? So you turn it on, right? Look at that. You see the little white gear right there? It moves up to engage with that gear. That is so fucking clever. Seriously, why didn't they, like, implement this shit on Trackmaster 2? Like, this is fucking genius, man. Like, I'm genuinely blown away, man. Like, I was always wondering how these things were so small but prevented wheel grindage, man. Like, that is so fucking cool, man. Just, oh my gosh, man. So fucking dope. Anyways, Ned, back up, there he goes. Now to really determine if this product is good, can he take out the Eggman Robo? Yeah, I think that gets a pass. Nothing too much to note there. You literally just, same as the engines, you just turn it on and it just goes in a straight line. It's been honestly really cool discussing this guy and actually putting Trackmaster in a positive light for once because, yeah, I will admit, I am definitely much more critical on it, and I do think it is way too overhyped. But I really do think that the road vehicles really do deserve more love. They're really fucking cool, man. So this guy is definitely much more rare than the average character. He's gonna run you about between $50 to $100 or so dollars. I managed to get mine for about $50. If you want the other characters like Jack, you're probably gonna go for the same price as this guy. Typically, he's around like $70 to $100. Alfie, good fucking luck finding him, but simultaneously, you see this guy. Do you really want this guy on your shelf? I've been trying to track down Jack for a decent price like this guy. Like 50 bucks, I think that's still a very reasonable and fair price for an item that is, you know, very sought after and rare. You know, I think that he's such a really cool piece for my collection. So that's all I gotta say for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.